Hello, and welcome to Easy Does It, a show where things are done easily. I need to think of a slogan before it's too late. I don't know what too late really means in this context. Anyway, if you read the description of today's episode, I'm feeling very ranty today, and there are a few things about which I'd love to rant. First of all, if you don't sell a high quality product, you have no business having an annoying jingle. We're going to call this segment, this first rant, we're going to call it Ruling Out Sponsors. And this is the segment where I, Elijah, get to rule out a certain number of sponsors. It's pretty simple stuff, honestly. And the first sponsor that I would like to rule out is Burger King. All right, Burger King will never be able to sponsor me because my whole life, they just haven't been very good. All right, when it comes to fast food burgers or even fast food chicken, they are the definition of mid at best, as the kids are saying these days. And yet, for some reason, they have these insipid ads where this guy with this voice, which just reeks of Burger King is paying for my car, just sings this insipid song. You know it. You know it very well. You know that feeling when your team throws a red zone interception in a key moment, and then the NFL, Fox Sports or CBS Sports cuts away to a guy singing Whopper, 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 Whopper. You know the feeling. It's happened to all of us, unless you're like I guess maybe it hasn't happened to Chiefs fans just yet, but it is probably the worst jingle I've ever heard. Just because a song is catchy, just because a song gets stuck in your head, it doesn't mean it is good. There is nothing about that song that makes me want to go to Burger King and get a hockey puck sandwich. That's what they serve. They serve hockey pucks on bread. I don't know if you ever had Burger King, but it is not a good restaurant. Not even a little bit. Like, I understand, yeah, it's fast food, but it's shitty fast food. McDonald's is better. Get me a Big Mac any day over a Whopper. Get me Wendy's, Carl's Jr., or Hardee's, as some of y'all call it. Whatever. Just Burger King. It sucks, and it doesn't it sucks too much to have a slogan like that. Look, if it was The Habit coming out with a song like that, that's great. You know, I'd be a little annoyed with The Habit, but I'd let it slide because The Habit's actually good. But Burger King fucking sucks. All right. And I'm tired of the NFL making room for it. It doesn't make sense. Of all burgers to sponsor the National Football League, you had to choose the worst one. Thanks a lot, Roger. That's really cool of you. Anyway, That's my rant about Burger King. I mean, like Chipotle is better. Like humor me with a Captain D's ad every now and then. KFC. Burger King actually they used to have a really fun ad campaign where they would just put the Burger King mascot over a certain NFL player, and they'd show like a famous highlight, like a Steve Young highlight, or like a why am I blanking? Like I think like a Dante Culpepper highlight, something like that. And they just put the Burger King guy over him. Those were funny. Those were always enjoyable. I always had a good time with that. But like now, they've just gone completely down the drain. It is the worst fast food restaurant. Honestly, like when it comes to failed advertisements, or I guess you can't really call this a failed advertisement. I don't know if it's helped Burger King in terms of revenue, but like when Russell Wilson earlier this year came out with that cringy Danger Witch sandwich ad for Subway, where he sold his sandwich, and he was like, "Be careful though, it's spicy. You ever do anything dangerous?" And it was just weird, very weird, very cringy. When he did that, I was like, honestly, it kind of got me hungry. It kind of got me wanting a Subway sandwich. It looked pretty good. Not even gonna lie. And yeah, it was definitely weird to hear him whispering at me like that. But at the same time, it wasn't an annoying song, and it got me hungry. This chicken, 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 this chicken shit, it pisses me off. It pisses me off to no end. So, fuck Burger King. I'm sorry, but like we're ruling out a sponsor today. Fuck Burger King. Anyway, moving on to football now. I mean, even their fries aren't good. Okay, I want to talk a little bit about first and foremost, or I guess second and foremost, second most, the Houston Texans. While I am very grateful for what Davis Mills managed to do on Sunday by converting a 4th and 12, throwing the game-winning touchdown pass, and successfully converting on a 2-point attempt to give the Texans a 32-31 lead and lead them to a victory over the Indianapolis Colts, thus solidifying the Chicago Bears' number 1 overall pick. As much as I am grateful for the players on the Houston Texans for doing that, Houston is a dumb organization. His sandwich must have a lot of holes. You know what, Frank? This is true. Houston is dumb. I don't understand the logic behind hiring a head coach like Lovie Smith, whose whole thing is he's relatively conservative. He's not going to rock the boat, but he's a solid coach. He's going to get his players to play hard, which he did this year. His untalented players, not untalented by NFL standards, though. We knew going into the season Houston had a weak roster. And Lovie Smith got them to play hard. They didn't win a lot of games. They won 3 games total throughout the year, 13-1. It's not good. However, I've seen very, very bad teams. You're opening up a Lovey's Burgers here in the suburbs. That sounds delicious. I'd like one. It'd be much better than that Burger King shit. Anyway, look. The Texans were 3-13 this season, which is not good. No doubt about it. Definitely not an impressive year by any stretch of the imagination. I'm not going to pretend that Lovey did an amazing job with them, but given how inept the roster is in regard to talent, or with regard to talent rather, and just given how bad they are at football, like those players compared to other NFL players, I still think he did a pretty damn good job. He got them to play really hard every week. They were in a lot of games, especially late in the season. It seemed like they were really figuring things out. Davis Mills is not a good quarterback, all right? Like, there's a reason why he fell to round 3, round 4. He's sturdy. He's like a, solid. He's had backup written all over him since he entered the NFL. But his ceiling was never particularly high. He's very much like he's like a Kyle Orton, and I like Kyle Orton. Don't get me wrong, friend of the show, I think almost. Or we're trying to get him on. Either way, um, but Kyle Orton, like he never, while he had success in the NFL, his ceiling was never particularly high. That's kind of the same situation with Davis Mills. He just, especially in a division with a young up and coming quarterback in um, Trevor Lawrence. Then you got Tannehill for most of the year. Solid veteran, decent starter, not a great starter by any means. And then why am I blanking? Houston, Jacksonville, Tennessee, Indianapolis. Well, Indianapolis kind of sucks. No, Frank, not quite like a Josh McCown, although similar mold. I love Josh McCown. Josh McCown is the greatest quarterback the Bears have ever had. I will take that with me to the grave. 2013 Josh McCown was sick, and we need to get him on the show because Josh McCown is the coolest backup quarterback in the history of anything. I love me some Josh McCown. But that's not the point. Point I'm making is, yeah, I think Josh McCown was better than Davis Mills, especially year 2 Davis Mills. My by golly. I can't believe I just said that. But look, so Lovey was playing with, a weak quarterback, and Jeff Driscoll isn't much of a backup either. Young players. His only really good receiver. Excuse me, I'm talking fast. I'm a fast talker, but I'm easy to understand. Haha. No, I truly think greatest backup we've ever had. That's for sure. But I mean, he's also watch his 2013 highlight tape. He was he was more than a backup. He was balling out. He was really, really good. But that's neither here nor there. I'm over it. We lost. We choked that season. I still haven't forgiven Randall Cobb, but no one ever forgives Randall Cobb. Former Texan Randall Cobb, by the way. People forget that. Anyway, yeah, Houston's dumb. I just look, poor roster, poor quarterback. Not very many good weapons. Brandon Cooks, obviously, very solid, experienced veteran, but he's never been like the only guy. He's just like a really good speed threat. And he's a good receiver, just a really good receiver, but he's about the best receiver they have. Not much talent on defense, although he was able to elevate a lot of the players that are there, including, I'm blanking on his name, but there was a guy who picked off Justin Fields twice week 3. If anyone could comment his name, that'd be cool. But yeah, the Texans, they just aren't a very good team. And that's not something you could blame Lovie Smith for. It's just not. And the fact that the Texans basically just hired him probably to fulfill a Rooney Rule requirement, and the fact that they fired him after one season, basically admitting that he was just a lame duck the whole time, that's a shitty franchise. That is a poverty franchise. That is a bad franchise. And that is a franchise that I'm just way too early predictions, making my way too early prediction for 2023. The Houston Texans will not win the Super Bowl next season. I'm just gonna put that out there. As a matter of fact, they're not gonna make the playoffs. I'll say that too. They are my favorite to get the number 1 overall pick next year. So they didn't get it this year because Lovey was winning it for the Bears. But don't worry, Texans fans, all 0 Texans fans who are listening. Your number 1 pick will come next season when you hire some other head coach who doesn't really know what he's doing, and you draft a quarterback who will be lost because there's no direction in Houston in regard to teaching players how to play football. There was with Lovie Smith. They gave the Chiefs a run for their money. They gave the Dallas Cowboys a run for their money with Jeff bleeping Driscoll. The Texans are a joke. Like, they're an absolute joke of a franchise. And I feel comfortable saying that because the Texans are younger than I am. Texans were born in 2002. I was born in 1996. I'm a year younger than the Carolina Panthers and the Jacksonville Jaguars. But yeah, the Texans they're just like they're like the dumbass teenager of the NFL. I guess they're not even a teenager anymore. They're They got to grow the fuck up. They're in college now, baby, and they are shit. I'm just I know this is a Chicago Bears podcast, but given how much Lovie Smith meant to the Bears for such a long time, and still does mean to the Bears, especially after what he did on Sunday, and just given the ineptitude of the front office in Houston, I couldn't like I had to talk about this because this is unacceptable. Like really what they did is absolutely shitty and dumb and stupid. So, that's that. I'm going to stop talking about the poverty franchise right now. I'm going to move on and want to congratulate the Bears on hiring a new team president in Kevin Warren. I don't know much about Kevin Warren, but I've heard positive things. I guess he worked in the Big Ten for a long time. So shout out to the Chicago Bears for filling that vacancy with someone who knows his football. Everyone I've talked to and people that I've talked to who are whose opinions I respect and who are not fans of the Chicago Bears say that this is a good hire for them. I still, like take everything with a grain of salt, but I'm happy with it. But like at the end of the day, it's really about like we're only going to be good if we get talent on the field. So if Kevin Warren is able to put talent on the Chicago Bears roster, then I will be very, very happy with this move. But I'm not sure how much of that he is responsible for. I do know Ryan Poles is responsible for a lot. And who does he have an exciting offseason ahead of him? I must say, that guy has he's got a lot to work with. He basically has the Madden player's dream franchise opportunity opening. Where's Anthony Stewart at? If Anthony Stewart's around, I'd love you to comment, say what's up. Because Anthony Stewart is a great, great listener of the show. And also, Frank, if your son wants to hop on and say his words, that'd be great. No, obviously, no obligation there. If he wants to, he's more than welcome. So yeah, congrats to the Bears on that. I want to stay in the NFC North, and I want to go behind enemy lines for a quick sec. So I talked about this on Tuesday's show. Yeah, man, I get it. I'd be nervous too, but you could tell him not to worry because there's 2 viewers and one of them is you. And also, I mean, yeah, like there's been a few trickling in here and there, but at the same time, yeah, like it's up to him. No worries either way. But if he ever wants to come on the show and just say Green Bay sucks, that's I mean, he's more than welcome to do so. Anyone can. Anyone who wants to hop on the show and say Green Bay sucks and then just kind of leave it at that, like that's great. That's cool. Ooh, I love this question. What do I feel about Hopkins? I love DeAndre Hopkins. I think he is the best receiver in the NFL. Not the best receiver in the NFL, but I think he's top 3 still. We give in to recency bias a lot in this league. And Justin Jefferson gets all the flowers these days, and he deserves them because he is a great player. There's no denying that. Justin Jefferson is a great receiver, as is Jamar Chase. I've loved Jamar Chase since college. Noah Gross, who was on the show a little while back, the Eagles fan, he sold me on Jamar Chase when he was in college. I love Jamar Chase. I love Justin Jefferson. I think they are 1A, 1B in the NFL. However, people forget because he plays in Arizona and because he got suspended, DeAndre Hopkins is one of the most talented players in the NFL, if not the most talented player in the NFL. I think, yeah, like I said, a lot of the reason why we forget about it is because he's in Arizona. The thing about Hopkins is he's never really had consistency at the quarterback position except for Kyler Murray for a little bit. But after that, there's really not much. There just wasn't much going on for him. And with that in mind, he definitely wants out. So the Cardinals don't have a ton of leverage. I do think there will be a lot of people asking for him. I would want the Bears to trade for him, and I would be willing to give up a third round pick. That might be a lot to some people. I'd hope to get a fifth back as well, but I'd be willing to give up a third round pick for Hopkins. However, I understand why people would think that would be too much. A fourth is what I'd be more comfortable with. Um, did I hear about the Colts package for one? I've read rumors about it, and I mean, yes, if people like if they're offering you their first round pick and next year's first round pick and like a second and a fifth and DeForest Buckner for the number one overall pick, if Ryan Poles wouldn't take that trade, like I would want him to be fired and like anyone could take his place. Like freaking my brother could take his place. My brother is not huge on football. He's a cool guy. But yeah, like I obviously if that is what is offered for the number one pick, absolutely please take that shit in a heartbeat, Ryan Poles. And then that makes it even more enticing to do the deal for Hopkins. Give up that third round pick or that fourth round pick, and then you have DeAndre Hopkins and Chase Claypool. Hopkins can absolutely bring the most out of Claypool. Claypool's going to have to change jersey numbers to have Hopkins in here. Y'all forget just how, not y'all are awesome. People just forget how good DeAndre Hopkins is. He is built different. He's special. Before his injury and then his suspension, people were holding him in esteem, like in regard as one of the best to ever do it, like on track to become one of the greatest of all time. It was Antonio Brown and DeAndre Hopkins for a very, very long time. The Bears should 100% make this move. A wide receiver room of DeAndre Hopkins, Chase Claypool, and Darnell Mooney. Oh, the Pittman deal. See, I don't like Pittman as much, honestly. Uh, they offered four. Pittman Jr., second, third. Oh, the fourth pick. Right, right. Yeah, I'd do that. I would do it for sure because, I mean, falling 1 to 4 isn't that bad. And then, you're still getting a really good receiver and a bunch of picks. Yeah, I'd do that too. I'd prefer DeForest Buckner to Pittman. And you have to remember, like, I mean, yeah, I probably wouldn't be as quick to jump to that because Hopkins is on the market right now. And again, Hopkins is elite. I can only imagine what Hopkins and Justin what I really believe that Hopkins will bring a lot out of Justin Fields, and Fields will in some ways bring a lot out of Hopkins too. And I think Hopkins will elevate Claypool's game and Mooney's game to an extent, although I do think Mooney is like Mooney's exceeded expectations already, and he's very solid as what he is. Um, they want 2 or 3 because they want Anderson. Yeah, that makes sense. And they'll see if the Colts offer more. Yeah, that makes sense. Again, DeForest Buckner would be the first choice I'd want from the Indianapolis Colts because he is, I mean, just his wingspan. Like he takes up so much space in the middle. He could rush the passer a bit, but he's also, just super stout against the run. I'm looking up his stats right now. Also, like, I mean, what a great name that is, DeForest Buckner. That's just like that's one of the best names in the NFL. There's no doubt about it. Yeah, my man is 6'7", 295. He just is a space eater. That dude, like, he's he's a really he's just a really good football player. There's no way around it. Really good football player. He had 8 sacks this year, which is really solid for a defensive tackle. I don't know if he's actually on the market. I don't trust the source from which I read that trade offer. But like, if I'm the Bears, hell, fuck yeah, I'm doing that. That's amazing. That's an amazing deal. But Pittman, I think is quite good. I've seen him get the dropsies in very clutch moments. So, and Hopkins, he did make one terrible mistake this year where he fumbled against the New England Patriots. But other than that, like, look, ever since he came back from injury, I mean, the fact that he had 64 catches this year in only 9 games, that's math. It's a little over 7 catches per game with absolutely zero consistency at the quarterback position. Except for Christmas Day, where he had 1 catch for 4 yards. And I'd have to go back and look at the tape, but I think it was Jamel Dean who may have shut him down, who is a cornerback that I would love the Bears to sign this season. And that's actually going to lead me to my next point pretty soon, but that's neither here nor there. But look, he had only 3 touchdowns this year. Again, not much quarterback play. He's kind of like, in some ways, this generation's Larry Fitzgerald, just making it happen without consistency from the quarterback position. But I mean, he had that one game against Minnesota. They just had no answer for him. Yes, the Cardinals lost that game, but 12 catches, 159 yards. Then later against the Rams, going up against Jalen Ramsey, 10 catches, 98 yards. Against the Niners, 9 catches, 91 yards. I mean, they got the shit beat out of them. But again, I mean, he was the productive player. He was the one. And I just think that given how much better the Bears are going to be this season than next season, yeah, like it's a no-brainer to make this move, especially if it's only going to cost like a fourth-round pick. But we'll see. We'll see what they end up doing. I've also read about another receiver on the block. Who was it? Who was it? It might have been Amari Cooper, but I wouldn't be interested in that as much. I like Amari Cooper. He's not Hopkins. Yeah, like no one's Hopkins. Very few current NFL players. Right, this is the guy who 2017 through 2020, this guy had over 1,100 yards in each of those seasons, over 1,200 yards in most of them. He missed a game in 2019. He had 104 catches, 1,165 yards that year, 7 touchdowns. Like, he is just amazing, an amazing, amazing player. And I mean, seeing him, like in the prime of his career, I do think he's got like 3-4 years left in him at least, at least in his prime. Yes, I would absolutely make this move. The Bears would be lucky to have a guy like that on the team. But I'm thinking about who the Bears. I'm looking at this offseason, and I do think another trade might be in order. And I think I know the position and the player that needs to be traded, and it has something to do with the free agency market, and it has something to do with the depth that we have where we have it. And that is, I think Jalen Johnson needs to go. And I love Jalen Johnson. I loved him in college. I think he's a very, very good cornerback. I think he lollygagged a bit in certain places this year. I don't blame him. I never blame defensive players when, like if they aren't as up to speed while their team is just constantly behind during the season. Like football's hard, man. It's hard. And if you're 3-9 and you have to run around and chase Tyreek Hill, maybe not the best example, but like, I can't get too mad at him for his poor games, even though I don't think he had any poor games. Like I was talking to my Eagles fan friend about this. He actually he played well against AJ Brown, all things considered. Like AJ Brown did burn him a little bit here and there, but like for the most, like he also stepped up in huge moments against him too. And AJ Brown's one of the best receivers in the game. I think Jalen Johnson needs to go because, for one thing, Jamel Dean should hit the open market, and he's one of the better defensive backs in the league. I'm going to make sure that he hasn't been signed yet by the Bucks. I don't think he has been. That is correct. He has not been signed by the Bucks. One second. I'm looking something up real quick. I think, yeah. So PFF has him rated highly. I don't love everything about PFF by any means, but I do love the one thing I do like about what they do is I think they do rank cornerbacks quite well. And I say that as someone who has watched a lot of film on what they've on the players that they rate highly. And Jamel Dean, real nice player. Real nice player. Bad call. These DBs can't do that much with no front four pressure. Well, right. Well, look, I'm going to get there, Frank. Don't worry. So the reason why I'm saying trade Jalen Johnson is because Kyler Gordon, second half Kyler Gordon was significantly better than first half Kyler Gordon. I could see why Ryan Poles drafted him. He's a good corner. Jaquan Brisker, also really, really good corner, or excuse me, safety rather. And Eddie Jackson, he was conserving himself a little more, especially towards the end of the season. But like, I still think very, very high quality player. I don't understand why the Bears want to trade him too. But look, Jalen Johnson's contract expires at the end of next season. If you could trade him now and get some picks for him, and bring in more depth, more, solid players, maybe even, I don't know if you get a second or third round pick for him, but if you could and, use it on a nice receiver, a nice young receiver for Fields, that'd be great. Or a lineman, right? And I say that because with all the money that the Bears have, they can afford a Jamel Dean to play opposite Gordon. Then they might need to look at nickel corners, which would be interesting. PFF, pansy foot fetishes. Look, no. Okay, Frank, let me tell you about PFF. Okay? They do not grade linemen well. Actually, look, no, they don't even. No, Mustafa graded 1 week from PFF. They gave him a 1.5 in pass blocking, first of all. That's like, I can't even explain. Like, it's unfathomably bad. It is like just the whole, like, it doesn't even compute. I cannot comprehend how bad that is because, like, and they were right. He had a terrible game in pass blocking. The thing about PFF is you have to take them as what they are, which is, it's just they are basing their opinions off of math and a certain formula. It's not like they're saying this guy's the best, this guy's the second best, this guy's the third best. What they're saying, like, they're not making factual statements. If you take them with a grain of salt, which and take them for what they are, which is an opinion based site, then some of what they say is good. And again, the one thing I like that they do, the one thing is I do like how they've graded corners because they taught me that they taught me about this AJ Terrell kid. First of all, I didn't know how good he was. Then they told me about him, and then I watched some AJ Terrell film, and holy shit, that guy could play. That guy could absolutely play. It's just one example, but point being, I mean, regardless of PFF grades, Jamel Dean is a good football player, and I do think the Bears. Let's see. I want to just double check on this because there are more corners hitting the open market. I also like the Blackwell kid on special teams that the Bears have. Um, and look, again, we don't know who is necessarily getting re-signed. I read today that Komet got extended, but I'm not. I haven't seen much on that. Like, I looked it up too. I don't know. Maybe it was just like a false report. But let's see real quick. Cornerback. Marcus Peters, no. Bradbury, maybe. Jonathan Jones, interesting. Yeah, there's some like solid corner CB3s out there on the open market. You could bring back Kyle Fuller. No, I don't want to. I probably wouldn't want to tackle that. Rock Yassin, if he ends up hitting the open market, would be an interesting signing. There are a lot of like not great, but decent corners on the open market this offseason. One corner I would like to bring back, and I know this is unpopular, is Bryce Callahan. Because when he is healthy, he is very, very good. But the point I'm making is if the Bears decided to make that move for a Jalen Johnson type player, I would be very happy. Or excuse me, to trade Jalen Johnson and try to get like for the right price. I wouldn't take anything less than a second round pick for him, but I'd be very happy because I know that there are good corners on the market who can replace him and succeed in this scheme. And just given that his contract expires at the end of the season, he's going to want the bag. I'd understand if the Bears wouldn't want to pay him the bag. I like Jalen Johnson a lot. I would not hate to see him in a Chicago Bears uniform for his whole career. And at the same time, I understand the logic of trading him. But again, it's all very fluid. Like, these aren't my opinions aren't set in stone, right? That's kind of the beauty of being a sports fan is like I don't pretend to know everything. Well, I do pretend to know everything sometimes. But I know that, I'm not an executive yet. I don't know everything. And therefore, I could put myself in the shoes of both situations. On the one hand, I understand that Jalen Johnson is a really, really good corner who I would love for the Chicago Bears to keep. On the other hand, I can understand why the Bears would want to move off of him before they have to pay him, get everything they can for him, and use the money on, another established corner while still being able to, stockpile the draft picks and, really build up the team. So, with that in mind, I lost my train of thought. No, I didn't. Um, with that in mind, yeah, I guess like I'm really to sum all this up. I'm just very very excited for this off season. I think it's going to be great. Well, it's going to be a lot of fun, and I'm really confident in Ryan Poles because I have liked a lot of his moves so far. For one thing, and for another thing, I think that the fact that he has experience as an NFL player, even though he wasn't a great NFL player, I do think that that experience matters, especially when it comes to building an offensive line. And I do think that we're going to have a really nice team next season. I think we'll be competitive. This team, this Chicago Bears team, as shitty as they were, as much as they sucked, it reminded me a bit of the 2014 Cubs when they weren't good yet, but you kind of knew that things were going to be coming together quite soon. And then 2015 was a magical run for the Chicago Cubs. And then 2016 was the magical run for the Chicago Cubs. So I'm hoping the Bears follow suit. Also, the 2005 White Sox, by the way, shout out to them because um, they're just kind of the forgotten championship team, not just in Chicago, just in general. But I was watching some highlights from them the other day, and they were fun, man. Paul Konerko, what a mensch, love him. Oh, by the way, the other receiver that I did not mention earlier is Devontae Adams. He'll want out of Oakland, not Oakland, Las Vegas. He'll want out. And if I'm Chicago, I'd give up a second for him. I'm not even kidding. I give up. I probably actually wouldn't give up better than a third round pick. Now that I think about it, because again, it's kind of the Hopkins logic. They're similar, but I could also see a scenario where Las Vegas sends him back to Green Bay. But I don't know if Green Bay can afford him. Well, they can make it work. Speaking of Green Bay, I want to talk about them for a minute because we're going behind enemy lines. And yeah, I mean, when Aaron Rodgers said he owns me, I took it personally and I wasn't triggered, so to speak. But of course, it upset me because it's true. Aaron Rodgers owns all of us. He bought space in my head in 2010, and he's been living there pretty much rent free ever since. I'm not ashamed to admit it. However, I do think the future is bright for Chicago in regard to this Green Bay rivalry. Let me explain myself. So we all know Green Bay lost to the Lions, right? And this is controversial. Once again, I cannot blame Karen Roger for this loss. Objectively, as a football analyst, as a sports analyst, I just can't blame the guy. It's not. Look, I'm not saying he played a great game, but what he did should have been enough to win. And I'm going to explain. Romeo Dobbs, the rookie wide receiver, good player raw player, but lots of potential out of Nevada. I really liked him in college. He's another one of those players that I wanted the Bears to look into drafting in one of the later rounds last year. He came up with two huge drops. I think they were both on third down too. And Rodgers just put really beautiful passes right on the money, right between the numbers for Romeo Dobbs. And Dobbs dropped both of them. It was bad. Secondly, Aaron Jones fumbled when the Packers had a chance to either score a touchdown or kick a field goal before the end of the half to make it. They could have gone up 12-3 at halftime. They could have gone up 9 plus. They could have gone up 16-3 at halftime. Instead, Aaron Jones fumbles. Lions get the ball back, make it 9-6. I have some plays from the game that well, before I get into that, it was bad. Rodgers wasn't great, but like I can't blame a quarterback for throwing an interception on 3rd and long. I've never blamed a quarterback for throwing interceptions on 3rd and long, especially if they're long interceptions down the field, because those are arm punts. They are essentially you're going to be punting on 4th down anyway, so you might as well chuck it, get your money's worth, throw it deep down the field. Now, the Packers did a poor job covering this arm punt, and Joseph, I believe his last name is the safety who owns Aaron Rodgers on the Lions. Let me find him real quick. Lions safety. Oh yeah, Kirby Joseph. Shout out Kirby Joseph. He's my grandpa. Kirby Joseph is my grandfather because Aaron Rodgers owns the Bears. So Kirby Joseph owns him. So he's my grand owner, so to speak. So mad respect to Kirby Joseph. He made that interception, took it down the field. And yes, the Lions got good field position out of it, but that's not the important thing, because whether or not the Packers would have been in good the Lions, whether or not the Lions would have had the ball in good field position after that interception, it didn't matter, because Detroit was gonna run out the clock either way. They were gonna run out the clock no matter what. And that's not because the Lions are good per se. They are good, but that's not the point. The point is that this is what the Packers do. This is what they have always done. And again, I'm not saying Aaron Rodgers, I'm not saying Throw Rogan is blameless, but the Packers have always been experts at not giving him a chance. They are elite in that regard. Their defense is and always has been the real choke artist. Once Rodgers threw that interception, I look, me being nervous, I'm like, oh fuck, like they're gonna get the ball back, the Lions are gonna choke, they're gonna blow it. But like rationally looking back at it, we all knew that the Packers wouldn't get the ball back because the Packers are soft. I'm gonna show you a play that sums up the Packers defense in big games. All right. And this is a play from this Lions game. All right. And this did not lead to a touchdown. This was not a touchdown drive. It just extended a drive for the Lions. But just look at this effort by the Packers defenders making the tackle.
And Goff will swing it out. Long way for Justin Jackson to go. But he got there for the first down.
That's a 3rd and 10. And Savage and Jarnell Savage and Rasul Douglas, they just didn't wrap the guy up. They didn't make the tackle. They couldn't. They didn't do their job. And that play didn't have a huge impact on the game, although it did, because, I mean, the Packers got the ball back and they didn't score the rest of the half, so who knows what would have happened if they...
And Goff will swing it out. Long way for Justin Jackson to go, but he got there for the first down.
I mean, that's just terrible effort. That's just terrible effort. If that was the Bears playing like that and making that tackle, oh man, I'd be livid. Especially with the playoffs on the line. Especially if your last name is Savage and you're tackling like that. Look, I'm 5'8", maybe 5'9" if I stretch. And I'm not, a strong guy by any means. So I'm not saying these guys are weak, but I'm saying, like, they could do better than that. My God. They knew the Niners were next, so they said, fuck it. Yeah, no, I mean, I get that. I thought they'd want a chance at them, but then I remembered that they're soft. I'm going to show you that. Okay, but I do want to show you all that interception that Rodgers threw, because one, it's glorious, and two, I'm going to tell you what happens before I show it. Basically, it's 3rd and 10. The Lions, just full balls to the wall, all out blitz. They get in Rodgers' face. They hit him. Like I've been preaching all year. You got to hit Aaron Rodgers if you want to beat Aaron Rodgers. They hit him as he throws. The ball kind of lollipops up there for a sec, and it's picked off. Again, I don't blame Rodgers for this throw, though, because when the blitz is there, you got to get it off, especially on 3rd and long. You don't want to take a sack there. You absolutely don't want to take a sack. You got to get rid of it. You got to give your guy a shot. It was not a good throw, but in the game situation, it absolutely made sense that he would at least try it. So I'm going to show it to y'all right now.
Here's a blitz. Can Rodgers beat it? Big ball downfield, and it is intercepted by Kirby Joseph. Joseph out of bounds around the 45. He's got Rodgers for the third time, and the Packers are in major trouble.
The Packers are in major trouble. I love to hear it. Yeah, I mean, look, first of all, like, I credit the Lions a lot for that interception because, like, that was just great coverage along the sideline. Like, really, they just took away the inside, and Kirby Joseph could just, like, run up there and jump and grab it. Secondly, Rodgers hit as he threw. Again, definitely affected the throw. Amazing, just amazing defense all around by the Lions. But the big thing there is, look, like I said, look. Again, Aaron Jones fumbles. Romeo Dobbs has a bunch of key drops. And then Quay Walker and Russell Douglas make the dumbest personal foul penalties, like what's it, in sportsmanlike conduct. Quay Walker getting ejected for hitting a trainer. This team is undisciplined. And Matt LaFleur is not a good coach. He has never been a good coach. The Packers are bad in key, once you take Aaron Rodgers off the Packers, they are going to be bad. I really believe that. I don't think Jordan Love is going to I kind of like Jordan Love as a player. I think he's going to be good, not great. I think he's going to be decent. But he's not Rodgers at all. Like he's not gonna be the answer. I think that once Rodgers is out, and I'm praying it's this year. I really think we're going to see a changing of the guard in the NFC North. The question is it going to be the Lions or the Bears? I also think the Vikings are frauds and that they're going to be falling off a cliff pretty soon. But that's neither here nor there. Point I'm making is, once again, the Packers lost. Once again, Aaron Rodgers is not going to take the blame for it. And once again, as much as I hate the guy, and this is a good thing, Bears fans, he's got a point. Go back and watch the Packers' playoff losses over the years. If you're like me, or if you're like Barstool Big Cat, these are your Super Bowls, essentially. The Packers suck without Aaron. Then
here's a blitz. Can Rodgers spots here? You'd expect him to run. They do against St. Brown, who pitches it back to Swift, who's on the run. Swift inside the 20 to the 17-yard line. And Goff is looking to throw, and he throws it. It's caught for the first down by DJ Chark. And you can hear them from all the way in Seattle. The Lions have come into Lambeau, and they've knocked the Packers down and out. Detroit Lions will finish with a winning record.
Beautiful, beautiful. Thank you, Detroit. Again, this is what the Green Bay Packers do. If you go back and watch any of Aaron Rodgers' playoff losses, which, again, these are like the Super Bowl to a lot of us Bears fans who don't have much else to cheer for. Thank you to whoever liked this on Facebook. That's cool. If it's a close playoff game, they do not give Aaron Rodgers a shot at the end. Like Aaron Rodgers he never has any room for error in these games. Anytime he makes a mistake, it comes back to bite him. It's not like Brady, where Brady has always had a really good defense with Belichick, who was able to bail him out. Not taking anything away from Brady, but Brady's made mistakes in big games too, and he gets away with it because his mistakes are better. First of all, he's got the timing down a little better, but also the defense will bail him out when necessary. Dante Hightower, Patrick Chung, Devin McCourty. These are all guys who have Stephon Gilmore, who have stepped up. Teddy Bruschi, Mark Vrabel. These are all guys who have stepped up in key moments to bail out Tom Brady when he's had some tough moments in playoff games with the Patriots. Football's a team game, and while I hate Aaron Rodgers, he's kind of right when he says, when he puts the blame on other people. Like, I don't like that he does it because it's not cool, but he's kind of got a point. Will Aaron Rodgers be the quarterback next year? Good question. I'm going to say yes. I can't imagine I can't imagine his last throw as a Green Bay Packer is the same, pretty much the exact same thing as Brett Favre's last throw as a Green Bay Packer, although it would make me very happy. If not, I mean, I could think of many teams that should trade for him. I mean, Tennessee would be cool. I could see him going to the Titans and making them a little better, just handing to Derrick Henry a lot. I think, um, obviously, San Francisco has been thrown around in terms of the Rodgers sweepstakes. I think Cleveland would be better with him, but he wouldn't go to Cleveland. Hey, but I mean, who knows? Maybe he'd pull LeBron and bring his talents to South Beach. But really, I mean, I think we know where he really should go. Um, Let me find it real quick. Where is it? I mean, look, like there are a lot of hell, maybe even friggin' Tampa, right? Like why not? Why if Brady ends up retiring or if Brady ends up going back to the Patriots like I've read before, or if he, ends up just on any other team, yeah, I absolutely could see why. But like I could see a lot of different scenarios for Aaron Rodgers. But really, I think the best thing for the NFL and the most fun thing for the NFL would be if Aaron Rodgers went to the New England Patriots. Put the most talented quarterback of our generation, Sans Mahomes, with Bill Belichick, and just watch him fuck shit up. Aaron Rodgers' stats in playoffs in the fourth quarter when games are on the line are horrific. That isn't his team. It kind of is. It kind of is because you have to remember there have been playoff games that the Packers have played. 2012 or the 2012 season, the 2016 season, the 2019 season, I know for sure, where the Packers defense could not stop anyone. Like when you cannot stop the run the way the Packers defense can't stop the run, you're not going to win very many games. And I don't like in the fourth quarter when the game is on the line, your stats should be yeah, obviously you want a guy who could lead a good comeback and I've seen Rodgers do that before. That's the thing. We saw him do it in Arizona, we saw him do it in Seattle. But you know what we haven't seen is we haven't seen the defense be able to stop anyone. We haven't seen Rodgers able to get the ball back in like a 2-minute situation because their defense always kind of fucks it up for them. And this is a good thing, Bears fans. Like the fact that it's not Aaron Rodgers, like if I'm right and it is not Aaron Rodgers' fault for the Packers failing, that's a good thing because that means when he leaves, they're going to be left to their own devices. They're going to have, daddy's not going to be home anymore. It's going to be Jordan Love and a defense that's built to play with a lead and, just like a very finesse team, just a soft team. And that is good. That is really good news for us. Like, I, I'm not defending Aaron Rodgers. Like, defending Aaron Rodgers isn't defending the Packers. It's defending the man that pretty much creates the Packers and has them by the balls. Let's see. No, sir. He misses wide open targets multiple times. Defense play bad, but best offense is good offense. I don't think you saw it, Frank. I don't think you saw the drops by Romeo Dobbs on third down. And that's kind of what happens. Look, 2011. Look, I remember every Packers loss very well. 2011. Oh man, Greg Jennings dropped touchdown pass. Many many dropped balls by all sorts of Packers receivers that game. I remember it. I still see it in my head. 2012, that was when Kaepernick ran wild on the Packers. Sorry, excuse for a defense. Packers scored 31 points on the road against a good defense. Should be enough to win a game. Wasn't enough to win the game. Obviously, the Packers lost 45-31. 45. You can't expect to win giving up 45 points. 2013, that was the collarbone year for Rodgers, Shea McClellan, woo woo. Again, Packers had a chance to stop the Niners late in the game, couldn't do it. 2014, that was the fucking NFC Championship in Seattle. Rodgers played hurt that game. He didn't have a great game statistically, but he did enough to win against one of the best defenses of this generation in the Legion of Boom. And everything just went the wrong way for Green Bay. Like, I can't blame him for Brandon Bostic dropping that onside kick. I love Brandon Bostic, by the way. I almost want to buy his jersey. I can't blame him for Clinton Dix just being out of position on that crazy 2-point conversion. I can't blame. I feel like in the playoffs, Aaron Rodgers, there have been more running backs named Aaron. There have been more players named Aaron who have fumbled for the Packers in Aaron Rodgers playoff games than Aaron Rodgers has fumbled in Aaron Rodgers playoff games. Aaron Jones, I count yesterday or Sunday as a playoff game. Aaron Jones fumbled. Aaron Jones fumbled twice in the NFC Championship against the Bucs. Can't blame Rodgers for that. Like, Rodgers isn't supposed to hold on to the ball for him. Aaron Ripkowski, the fullback, white fullback, he fumbled in the NFC Championship 2016 against the Falcons. Again, that was one of those games where they just couldn't stop anyone. 2017, I don't really remember. 2018, the Bears won the division. That was sad. Double doink. Don't want to bring it up. I'm not fucking talking about it. 2019, they couldn't stop Raheem goddamn Mostert. In 2020 was Tampa Bay touchdown Tom. Can't count him out. Yeah, Rodgers didn't play a terrible game. You know, I blame his fucking coach for making him go for a field goal when they were down by 8 instead of, trying to tie the game. And Rodgers didn't get the ball back. And then last year, 2021, actually, that's the one where I do blame Rodgers. That's what I will say. 2021, yeah, Jordan Love era, please start. Fuck the Packers. Stop defending that hillbilly trash. Dude is regular season quarterback choice of the season. Look, he's going to go to a better team, and he's going to have success in the playoffs. If he ever did go to a better team, I think he will have a lot of success in the playoffs. But again, Frank, I'm not defending Aaron Rodgers because I like Aaron Rodgers. I'm defending him because I hate the Packers. And because it's objectively not his fault, except for, like I said, 2021, he definitely missed some big-time throws there. Although, they still should have won that game. Special teams error after special teams error after special teams error, things that you don't see in Brady games at all. You don't see in Eli Manning games. If you go back to when the Giants had great runs, you don't see a lot of special teams errors unless it was the other team. The Niners had muff punts in the game in the NFC Championship in 2011 against the Giants. Against the Giants. Like, we saw it when Matt Flynn took over for a few games after Shea McClellan did the glorious thing he did. Aaron Rodgers is the Packers. He is. When someone tells you they're a Packers fan, they're not a Packers fan. They are an Aaron Rodgers fan. He is the only good thing about that team still. Christian Watson's pretty cool, and they have some decent defensive players. I'll give them that. But, like, for the most part, it's a pretty soft, pretty finesse team that has been heavily relying on a quarterback, and that is why I'm with you, Frank, on this one. Jordan Love era, please start. Suck it, Packers. And the dream scenario is Aaron Rodgers goes to the Titans. The Packers play the Bears twice a year, and, without their daddy, we kick their ass twice a season. Bears, like, burying Jordan Love into the ground a few times every game, or each game. And then in the Super Bowl, the Titans, led by Aaron Rodgers, make it there. And the Bears make it. Chicago, Tennessee, Super Bowl. And on the last play of the game, Jalen Carter claws his way through the middle and sacks Aaron Rodgers. Just picks him up. Shea McClellan's his ass, ends the game, and stands up over him and says, "I fucking own you, bitch." That's the dream scenario. The playoffs. Aaron Rodgers started 9 drives with less than a 6-point deficit in the fourth quarter. A touchdown would have given the Packers a lead or the win. Rodgers only scored a touchdown on 1 of 9 of those drives. The Packers lost 7 of those 9 games. Yes, no, I know about the stats. Look, again, I'm a stats guy. I know about the stats. Watch the film. I'm trying to think of these drives specifically. 9 drives, 6-point deficit. Only scored a touchdown on one of those 9 drives. Okay, yeah, like one of those was that, that Seattle game where Mike McCarthy was adamant about giving it to Eddie Lacy, running the ball and sticking with the field position battle. I know the Arizona game is probably the one where he did score the touchdown. Um, then there was that, Matt LaFleur one where they kicked a field goal when they should have had a touchdown. Like the point I'm making is, I've seen these drives, like these drives, like you're talking like these drives happen with 2 minutes left in the game, or that they happen with like 3 minutes even, but really they happen with like 7 or 6 minutes when feasibly the field position battle is still going on and Rodgers should get the ball back, but he never does. He never gets the ball back because the Packers can't stop shit. And I'm going to stop talking about Aaron Rodgers. Let me talk about the Packers defense, okay? Like fuck Aaron Rodgers, forget Aaron Rodgers, Frank. The Packers defense, when they don't have Aaron Rodgers and they don't have leads in as many games and they're not as comfortable with their offense, I just I'm salivating at the mouth thinking about what Justin Fields and whatever fucking running back the Bears end up going with next season are going to do to that defense, because they are soft. They are baby shit soft. I mean, Fields had his best passing performance against them. And I mean, it brings me joy knowing that the Rodgers era is going to end in Green Bay soon, because the Packers defense, like I said, it's built to rush the passer. It's built to stop the pass. Jair Alexander is the second highest paid player on the team because of what he does against the pass. Kenny Clark's getting old. They're just not very good in the trenches. The Bears we should by next year be able to beat Green Bay. And I think we should be able to beat them twice. Even, well, if they have Aaron Rodgers, I don't know, but like the word is that Rodgers isn't coming back. But I don't know what they're going to do with him, man. I really don't know. I know fans are tired of him. Fans are very tired of him. I might start to go undercover as a Packers fan on Twitter and just tweet all this shit against Aaron Rodgers just so I could get him out of there. But like I said, this is about the Packers defense, and really the reason why the Lions game gave me hope is because if the Lions of all teams, what is this? I did. He lost. Playoff loser. Drop passes. I understand all these miscommunications, misblame, selfish, really never reports to camp. Just expects players knows he's thinking. Yeah, look, Frank, you have points. You have valid points. I'm not even like I can't argue with that. Like you have like yes, like I'm not saying he's completely blameless, but what I'm saying is he like while Brady and some other quarterbacks and like Russell Wilson even have had defenses that get him the ball back, like get the quarterback the ball back. Like when like winning quarterbacks often benefit from these really, really good defenses that help put them in position to win, help put them in position to get the ball back, help put them, like they give opportunities to their offense. Quoting Warren Sapp, defense doesn't win championships. It will give you a chance, and it's up to the offense to capitalize. The Packers defense does not give them a chance. Every now, like 2014 was the only time they really played a really good game. And, that was a special teams disaster. That game was a clusterfuck for Green Bay. They should have blown out the Seahawks. But, oh, man, divine intervention or something. But regardless, yeah, Throw Rogan's not blameless, dog. It's, but like really, most of the blame absolutely belongs on the Packers defense. And I'm excited to play this Packers defense in the future. I just hope Matt LaFleur sticks around for a long time, because I don't think he's a very good coach. And, to quote Fiddler on the Roof, is there a prayer for the czar? Is there a prayer for Aaron Rodgers? Yes, there's a prayer for Aaron Rodgers. May God bless and keep Aaron Rodgers far away from us. And with that, I'm going to move on to my last segment, which is the NFL playoffs. Woo! Okay, I want to talk about just yeah, I'll pull it up. I'll pull it up on the wild card weekend schedule. We got some really really exciting games. A lot of fun stuff ahead of us planned. I'm very excited about it. Let me find the. I'm stalling right now, trying to find the picture of the playoff picture. Let's see. There we go. All right, so San Francisco hosting Seattle. I like San Francisco to win. God bless him outside of football. Yeah, that works too. Keep him, Lord, please keep Aaron Rodgers far away from the NFL. That's that's a polite prayer, I think. Yeah, San Francisco is going to beat Seattle this weekend. I'm gonna go through these games in order of how confident I am in these picks. So the first one I'm most confident in is I'm very confident in San Francisco beating Seattle. They beat them pretty well each of the first two times they played this season. I can't see a scenario where the Seahawks are able to beat the Niners in San Francisco. I think Geno Smith will come to play. I think it'll be kind of close, but not that close. I say 30-20, San Francisco wins. Second most confident is Buffalo over Miami. Miami starting a third string quarterback, Tyler Thompson, I think his name is. Or maybe I think it's Tyler Thompson. I don't know. It doesn't matter, though, because Buffalo is going to win this game very handily. I'd be very surprised if Miami managed to win. I'm going to say Buffalo wins this one like 37-17. This will be the most boring game of the weekend. Third most confident, and I'm still very confident about this one, Cincinnati hosting Baltimore. Joe Burrow is going to win. Lamar Jackson is probably not even going to play. They're just, Cincinnati's just the better team right now. And they should, there's a very good chance that they make the AFC Championship. And then we got, I guess the one I'm next most confident in is Minnesota. Minnesota hosting the New Jersey Football Giants, I should say. Let's see. Only quarterback in the NFL. I hope the Bears hurt. And I do like players getting hurt. I think you mean I do not like players getting hurt. But yeah, I agree. Like, I wouldn't mind to see Aaron Rodgers get hurt. Shea McClellan's my hero. He wasn't a good player, but that one play, that one time was pretty cool. Yeah, if Aaron Rodgers got hurt, I'd be delighted. And he's the only player I could say that about comfortably. Although I wouldn't mind if Steph Curry got a few bruises. Just bruises, though, nothing more than that. But that's another sport. And I like Steph Curry as a person way more than Aaron Rodgers. So, anyway, but that's not the point. I respect Steph Curry. Minnesota hosting the Giants. I'm pretty confident in Minnesota this one. Although, yeah, like this is where my confidence does start to waver, not even going to lie. The Giants gave them everything they had in the game in New Jersey last time they played. Or wait, was it in Minnesota? Let me check it out. Vikings, Giants, score. See it. Do 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 do. Oh yeah, it was it was in Minnesota. It was 27-24. I do think the Vikings are a better team than the Giants still, and I do think they will end up winning by a similar score. I'd say 30-24 this time. I think they get a 6-point win. But this one's tough to predict. Then Jacksonville going into Los Angeles to play the Los Angeles Chargers of Anaheim. I like the Charger. I like the Chargers to win. And this is a game between the two least liked teams in the NFL. Although I do like the Chargers. I think the Chargers will go on the road and win this one. I'm not super confident in this because one, the Jags have been playing very well, and two, I like the Jags coach in Doug Peterson, way more than Brandon Staley. I think Brandon Staley is an awful coach. But the Chargers just have more talent right now, and Justin Herbert is still better than Trevor Lawrence right now. I think that will change in a few years. But right now, Justin Herbert is better, and I think that will be the difference in this game. In a close one, I like the Chargers to avenge their Week 3 disaster against the Jaguars. And I like them to win this one in Duval, 30-27 in a thriller. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. I'm very excited for this game. And lastly, this is the game I'm least confident in. Although maybe I should bump it up a little bit. I'm a little more confident about this one than I am the Chargers, Jags, and probably the Giants, Vikings. I'm not gonna pick against Tom Brady in the playoffs. I'm not fucking stupid. Are you kidding? Last year when they played the Rams, that was different. The Rams had Von Miller and Aaron Donald on the same defense. It was stupid. It was stupid good defense. And I mean, Cooper Kupp was playing out of his mind. Tampa should beat Dallas. I know they don't have as good of a record, but the thing that Tampa's done well all year is they play really good defense. And I mean, their offense clicked late in the season. I like Tampa to win this one. Pretty boring game, but well, not boring, just low scoring. Huge difference. I think Dallas will make some plays, but I do think at the end of the day, Tampa is better. Um, and Dallas has a history of choking. I'm going to root for Dallas in this one, and I don't root for Dallas a lot. But I think Tampa gets the win 22-19. Lots of field goals in this one. And then, just to kind of go through it from this point, like if all my predictions are correct, which they will be because I'm brilliant, Cincinnati going into Buffalo to play the Bills. This one is tough, man. This is a rematch of the game from Monday Night Football in which Damar Hamlin collapsed. Prayers up to him. I think, and this game should be played at a neutral site, but I don't think it will be. I think it will be played in Buffalo. It's hard for me to bet against Joe Burrow. I think the Bengals get that win. I really do. I really do. I hate saying it, but I really do. Then Chargers at Chiefs. Chiefs have had the Chargers number the past few times they played, even though all the games have been very exciting. I think this one will come down to the wire, and once again, I do think Mahomes will come out on top. I like the Chiefs to beat the Chargers 31-27 in a thriller, meeting up with the Bengals in the AFC Championship once again. San Francisco hosting the Minnesota Football Vikings. Yeah, San Francisco is going to bounce them 40-23. Then Philadelphia hosting Tampa Bay. It's hard to bet against touchdown Tom. Touchdown Tim Brady. And I'm not going to. I think he goes into Philly and finds a way. 20-16. Tim Brady gets the win. Or, you know what? I'm going to say 23-21. I think the Eagles get a few touchdowns. 23-21. Tampa Bay wins, and they go on to San Francisco to play the Niners. It'll be much closer than last time, but I do think that just what the Niners are doing on offense with all those fucking amazing players and Kittle, McCaffrey, Deebo Samuel, Brandon Ayuk has been awesome all year, and Brock Purdy's been playing very, very well. I do think they will get this win. I think it'll be a lot closer this time. Touchdown Tom will keep them in the game, but this Niners defense is just so good. Bosa and Warner is almost a cheat code to have both those guys on the same defense. And that is why I think the Niners will represent the NFC in the Super Bowl. I take the Niners to win this game 23-20. And I think the Niners will be playing against the Kansas City Chiefs, who will beat the Bengals this time around. It's hard to bet against Joe Burrow, but it's also hard to bet against Pat Mahomes, two best quarterbacks in the NFL, in my opinion. It'll be another great game. I think it'll be 27-24 again, except this time the Chiefs come out on top. Chiefs Niners in a Super Bowl rematch of Super Bowl 54. And this time the Chiefs win again. I think the Chiefs will win the Super Bowl by the final score this time. I think it'll be a little closer, but not much. 26-23. Kansas City gets the win. I hope I'm wrong. I don't really want to see the Chiefs win the Super Bowl because I feel like I saw them win the Super Bowl recently. But at the same time, I wouldn't be too upset. I like Patrick Mahomes. I don't hold a grudge. Some Bears fans hold a grudge against Patrick Mahomes because the Bears passed up on him. That's stupid to me. I never understood that. I got nothing against the guy, and I'm glad he's in the AFC and we don't have to deal with him every year. Um, it's very nice, I must say. I think the biggest threat to the Chiefs in some ways might be the Chargers because of how good those games are every time they play. And my original Super Bowl pick was Chargers and Niners. I could show you all the podcast where I said that. And I picked the Chargers to win that. I'm not sticking with that prediction. Although if it does happen, that'd be pretty cool. And I do think it's a very real possibility still. But that being said, yeah. Kansas City should win the Super Bowl. I might put a premium on them. We'll see. I really like their chances. It's hard to bet against Patrick Mahomes. And I mean, if that happened, I wouldn't be thrilled, but I wouldn't complain about it. You know what? I'd be pretty happy. I'd be happy for the Chiefs because, I mean, Mahomes he's too fun, man. He's just really fun to watch. And yeah, I'm a Bears fan. Bears are my number one team, but like, I'm just going to enjoy the shit out of those playoffs. And it is nice. It is very nice that the Packers are out. Like, I'm very glad that I don't have to deal with the stress of, oh, are they going to do it? Are they gonna go on this miracle run? It's very nice that the Lions took care of business because I did not want to see them in the playoffs.
What the hell is even that?
So with that said, thank you all for tuning in. I know it wasn't not a lot of you, but some people did tune in, and I appreciate that. Hope you like my thoughts. Bit of a longer episode. Hopefully next week we have a pretty cool guest. I am in communications with someone. I'm hoping that it goes well. And so with that, just tell me how full of crap I am.
I think I have to be just like some idiot who's full of crap. Please.